have agreed to a 3-year, $165 million max extension with a player option in 2028. Luka spoke to the media on Saturday after putting pen to paper. Take a listen.
I was kind of thinking, even obviously not at the moment when I got traded, but later on when I started playing, I wanted to be here. Like I said, this is an amazing organization. We have a trust in each other, so I decided pretty quick. It's an honor, playing for this organization. Many great players played here, so obviously when you look up here, so many great names and what they achieved, I want to be up there too one day.
Let's welcome in our senior insider, Shams Charania. And Shams, how did Luka and the Lakers come to an agreement on the first day he was eligible to sign that max extension?
I mean, it starts with Luka Doncic himself committing and finishing really this coronation of him as a franchise player for the Los Angeles Lakers moving forward 6 months to the day that he was traded in arguably the most stunning sports deal ever. And listen, Lakers general manager Rob Pelinka, Luka Doncic's agent Bill Duffy, they've met and spoke on Saturday morning, but this is a pretty quick negotiation. It's been emotional last half year for Luka Doncic ever since that trade to the Lakers from Dallas. And what we've seen from Jeannie Buss, Rob Pelinka, then Mark Walter, the new owner there in LA, is building that relationship with Luka Doncic and his inner circle, a close rapport there. And he could have been a free agent next summer, but he commits to this 3-year, $165 million deal. And the question is, why the 3 years? And it's because this summer, he was in line for a $345 million Supermax deal if he was still a Dallas Maverick. Obviously, he was traded to the Lakers, and by getting that player option in 2028, he's going to have 10 years of service. He'll be able to opt out and be eligible for a 5-year, $417 million deal when he'll be able to recoup all the money that he lost by virtue of missing that Supermax. So some business sense, but there was going to be some level of commitment with Luka Doncic at some point this offseason. 3 years, 165.
Look, all I hear is a lot of M's and also just a new dawn here in LA. Shams with the latest. Don't go too far. The Luka extension has been a key point for the Lakers this offseason, and now they have him locked in through the 2028-29 season, which is a player option. Now with Luka in LA for the foreseeable future, here he is on his mindset after the new deal.
Yeah, honestly, I think we have a great team. We have what we need to compete for the championship. I'll bring, we're already, brought, try to win every game, no matter what. And, we got some new great guys being on the team, and we're going to go for it.
All right, now welcome in our two senior writers, Ramona Shelburne and Mark Spears. Ramona, you can hear the urgency in Luka Doncic's voice right there. What's your biggest takeaway from this extension?
This feels like Luka Doncic's team now. Like, he isn't just the guy that got traded to the Lakers. He isn't the guy who is figuring out what the heck happened and why Dallas traded him. He is the face of the Lakers now, and he was embracing it. Like, he chose them. And I think this was a remarkable job of relationship building over the last 6 months by the Lakers. You have to remember, this man went through an ownership change in Dallas. Mark Cuban sold the team, and everybody in the thought was nothing was going to change there either. And, oh, guess what? Everything changed. Yeah. Mark Cuban was not running the Dallas Mavericks very quickly soon thereafter. And so I wouldn't blame him for having trust issues, okay? Like, the Lakers have been sold now, or they're going to be sold to Mark Walter, and Jeannie Buss is transferring power to Mark Walter over the course of a 5-year period or so. But over these 6 months that he's been here, he had to, A, wrap his head around what just happened, B, embrace Los Angeles and decide, do I want to be here long term? And probably most importantly, do I trust these people? And so you got to give Rob Pelinka, JJ Redick, Jeannie Buss, and Mark Walter, who has had not just this meeting with him at the contract signing in the Backstreet Boys concert, but other meetings with his representatives to say, you can trust them.
Yeah.
I'm going to beg to differ with you.
Okay.
As long as LeBron James is in that locker room, they're co-stars. He ain't the face yet.
Yeah.
When LeBron leaves, I'll take the crown off and hand it over to Luka. And that was the elephant in the room there, right? Where was LeBron James at? I actually think it was a good thing that he wasn't there. I love that Luka got that amazing support from his teammates, and, maybe that Backstreet Boys ticket and PJ to Vegas, I think I will go. But, if LeBron's there, then it takes the spotlight off of Luka a little bit. He deserved his day to be the guy to enjoy his contract, to get the praise for that, to go to this I don't know that LeBron James wanted to go see Backstreet
Probably
Boys
not.
either.
Probably not.
But
Ron was rocking out. Look at
I know, right?
But I did hear, I think Dave McMenamin has reported that LeBron called. And to me, that's the respect that he needed to show. So I don't think there's any real elephant in the room there. But I do think that these two guys together, they're co-stars, they're co-superstars.
So who gets to say I want it that way?
You see? I see what you did there.
Yeah, I know.
I feel like Mark doesn't know the lyrics of Brian Windhorst.
I can sing it.
I mean, I think Tell Me Why. Is that the song?
Wow, we got you singing.
That's like the only song that I know.
That's all he knows.
When LeBron James, if LeBron wanted to be there, he would be there. I have been to many Laker press conferences where
he wasn't at his son's first preseason game.
Okay.
He was with Bad Bunny in Puerto Rico.
Now,
Do you remember when Frank Vogel was hired? It was after the summer where Magic had quit.
But why?
And they
but
tried
why was he there?
Because he wanted to show support.
Why?
Because it was his team.
But it was drama going on, right?
Yeah, because Magic had stepped down.
Yeah.
And then they went through a very strange coaching search where they didn't hire his guy, Tyronn Lue.
Yeah.
And they ended up with Frank Vogel and LeBron, and there had been things that had been uncomfortable between the sides. And LeBron very clearly showed up, and he was wearing like a neon pink hat at that press conference.
Sure
like, hey,
him.
by the way, I'm here.
Yeah.
And I'm showing my
But
support.
with his drama with the team right now, I think it would have taken away from Luka's press conference if he was there.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I think he made the right decision.
I feel like you win and you lose in both situations.
He can't, because of who he is, right?
Yeah, because of who LeBron is, it doesn't even matter. If he shows up, it could be a bad thing because he's trying to, take the spotlight. Or if he doesn't show up, it's a bad thing now because now you're not supporting Luka Doncic. So I guess it's a lose-lose situation.
But the fact that he called.
I think that's a big deal.
He called. He reached out, and that's really that's all that matters. All right, and check this out. After the extension, Luka put this out on X saying, "I'm also committing $5 million to help 77 young athletes around the world chase their dreams just like I did. Basketball gave me everything, and I'm lucky to be able to give back and help the next generation." Great to see Luka giving back and setting up the next generation of ballers. And speaking of extensions, we've got some breaking news here on NBA Today. Shams Charania back here with us. And Shams, what can you tell us about another extension out in San Antonio?
I mean, a Spurs star, De'Aaron Fox, has reached agreement on a 4-year, $229 million max contract extension with the Spurs. That keeps him in San Antonio through the 2029-30 NBA season. This is a signing that'll occur later on Monday. And De'Aaron Fox and his rep, Rich Paul, navigated a trade to his preferred destination, the only place he wanted to be, San Antonio, back in February. He wanted to be a Spur. He got there. He got his wish. And now months later, he gets the full max contract. And this is after the Spurs already drafted Dylan Harper, have the reigning Rookie of the Year as well, and Stephon Castle. That backcourt is loaded. So now he's going to have no state taxes as well with this extension compared to his old California residence. But for De'Aaron Fox, Victor Wembanyama, him and Victor Wembanyama have developed a very close relationship. And, overall, I think for the Spurs, this is something that they wanted to make sure they got done early this offseason.
Yeah, Spurs making sure they made that move early. Shams catching a straight right there, bro. Taking a shot at California. Shams, thanks so much for that.
A lot of times where Sean lives, too.
Yeah, that is true, too. And now you have, this Spurs team last season, they really underachieved. They lost Wemby to the blood clot, then also finished under 500. So, Mark, just what is the ceiling for this Spurs team now knowing that De'Aaron Fox is going to be there with this extension?
Well, first, kudos to De'Aaron. He got what he wanted. He's back home. His wife's from around there. He got paid, and he's with Wemby. But the question is, a lot of people don't know this. The Spurs haven't been in the playoffs since 2019, which sounds kind of absurd to say.
It is.
Wemby has not played in the postseason. I expect him to be healthy and take the team to the playoffs. I think they will be a playoff team. And then the next thing is people are like, well, De'Aaron, you got these other two guards, great guards, Castle, the rookie coming in. I don't think they do anything right now. You let those two guys, let Harper grow, let Castle grow some more, and Fox will be a great mentor for them. They're a really scary team if everybody's healthy.
Yeah, and it's hard to evaluate anything last season because so much happened to the Spurs.
Yeah.
From Greg Popovich having his health issues and then eventually stepping down. Mitch Johnson coming in the middle of the year, having to take over, actually early into the year, having to take over on the fly. Wemby had blood clots, shut down his season right after the All-Star break. And even Durant got there, and they played a little bit together, but they didn't really get to see what that combination can do. And so I think I'm excited to see what the Spurs do. I think this gives Dylan Harper some time to grow. This gives Stephon Castle some time to grow into those roles. And as Mark said, yeah, maybe 3 years from now, that might be a decision they have to make, but it's not a decision for today.
Gives the coach time to grow, too, with his first training camp.
Yeah. And let's talk a little bit about De'Aaron Fox and his fit with Wemby, though, also. Yeah. Mark, how do you think those two fit together on the court?
Oh, you know what? I think that Fox's time with Sabonis probably could help, pick and rolls. And, Sabonis was certainly the kind of guy that could shoot threes, make a mid-range. Wemby's just such a unique, odd, different monster, right? And so that's why I think training camp is important. Maybe what the Spurs should do is take a note out of, like, the Celtics when I covered them, where they go somewhere. I don't know if they're doing training camp somewhere else, but when you have so many new pieces like that, bring them away.
Yeah.
So they could get to know each other and build some camaraderie, too.
Yeah, build that chemistry. That's going to be huge for this San Antonio team going into next season. All right, coming up on this jam-packed show, we've covered Luka, but what about LeBron? Our breaking news from this hour, Shams Charania back here with us. And Shams, what can you tell us about a big-time deal out of San Antonio?
I mean, a Spurs star guard, De'Aaron Fox, has reached agreement, 4 years, $229 million max contract. He will sign the deal later today. I'm told, and this deal keeps him in San Antonio through 2029, 2030. And again, remember, De'Aaron Fox, his agent, Rich Paul of Clutch Sports, navigated a trade to his preferred destination. The only place he wanted to be in San Antonio back in February. Wanted to be a Spurs, got there, and now months later gets his full max contract. He's all in. I'm told there's no player option in this deal, so he will be there. This is a two-way commitment that the Spurs make, even in the wake of drafting Dylan Harper. They have Stephon Castle, the reigning Rookie of the Year, as well. But that relationship between Victor Wembanyama and De'Aaron Fox, very important. Those are the two leaders of this young core moving forward that keeps De'Aaron Fox there long-term. But De'Aaron Fox, Victor Wembanyama, Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper, that's really that young core that the Spurs are going to be relying on as they continue to try to contend in the West.
Yeah, De'Aaron Fox in it for the long haul. Shams, thanks so much. And speaking of Texas.
And the fans are going to be nuts. They'll show a lot of Luka love and some venom toward the front office, letting them know they're still mad as hell.
Number 77, Luka!
So many emotions, and went out there and just played basketball.
Oh, Doncic locked in from the opening tip. He's giving it to him from every spot on the floor.
He's just letting them know that daddy's home.
It's superhuman.
A night for Doncic that began in tears and it ends in triumph.
All NBA. So that's...
All right, Luka's first game back in Dallas was unforgettable, but that wasn't his only wow moment in his first Lakers season. Let's relive some of the best with a little top of the top, starting back on February 10th. Luka Doncic making his Lakers debut versus the Jazz. Step back three, Ramona, this is what he does.
Yeah, and he needed that one. I remember he was struggling here, and they got that to fall, and the whole building felt so good for him.
Yeah, he finished that one with 14 points. How about the Lakers taking on the Jazz and Luka's second game as a Laker through this incredible no-look pass to Rui Hachimura. Mark, this is showtime.
Yeah, he could be on the Globetrotters if he wanted to, but with all that money he's making right now, he's good.
Yeah, the money he's making right now, he's not going to make with the Globetrotters. Let's take a look at this next moment right there. Hornets taking on the Lakers in Luka's third game as a Laker. He threw this full-court dime to LeBron James on the break for the slam, and that's the connection you want to see, Ramona.
You know, LeBron has often said Luka is his favorite player, and passes like that.
Yeah, 14 points and 8 assists in that matchup for Luka. And how about the Lakers taking on the Rockets? Luka dribbles and breaks Alfred Şengün's ankles. Oh, my goodness. Someone call the cops, Mark.
That one.
Man.
Ooh.
Slide to the left.
Oh, you know what? It is a little bit of a cha-cha slide, but not the one you want to see. How about Luka's return to Dallas? And it was filled with emotions and Luka magic. Luka was in command all night long, scoring from everywhere. He finished with 45 points and dazzled the NBA world with his performance. And Ramona, talk about getting a little bit of revenge here.
I can't get over how much emotion he had to play with. First the game in LA against the Mavs, then we're going back to Dallas. I mean, this man, he looked shell-shocked to me all year long. along, and good for him for having a great game in that game back to Dallas.
And you can see it right there. Laker Nation was fired up on social media once Luka officially put pen to paper over the weekend. This is just a taste of what your timeline probably looked like when you logged on Saturday. And I know the first thing that I did when the news broke was checking with our front office insider, Bobby Marks, on social media to see the ins and outs of this contract. So, Bobby, how did the Lakers maybe build from this point on with this Luka extension?
I mean, I go back to that press conference on Saturday, certainly when Rob Pelinka addressed all the moves they've made. And the one thing that stood out is that they are not content, right? They're happy as far as what they had, but there's still work to do. And I think there's still a checklist here. So for me, it's the four things certainly to keep an eye on when this season gets going. The first is pre-free agency, I call it. Should they get a jump start on next offseason? Remember, there's 3 players on expiring contracts: Rui Hachimura, Maxi Kleber, Gabe Vincent, $40 million in expiring contracts. Can they parlay that into a player that can help now and also next year? The second, do the picks have value? They have a 2031 or 2032 first-round pick. They have pick swaps in 5 years. They only have 1 second-round pick. We saw them as certainly aggressive in that failed Mark Williams trade last February. The third thing, is cap space a priority? The Lakers are in the driver's seat next offseason, projected $50 million in cap space next in 2027. $100 million. That is when Giannis and Nikola Jokic could become free agents. But remember, we've seen potential free agents not become free agents with extensions. We just saw De'Aaron Fox come off the board. And then the fourth thing is the most important. How does LeBron and what does his future play into the role moving forward? On the last year of his contract, we know definitely he will be an unrestricted free agent this offseason.
So it feels like the Lakers still have a lot of work to do this offseason and going into next season. But Bobby Marks, the checklist is good. Thanks so much for the insight right there. And you aren't the only one who has questions about LeBron's future. Here's David Meneman asking Rob Pelinka about that very topic at the presser.
Do you anticipate LeBron finishing his career with the Lakers?
Yeah, so all the interactions we've had with LeBron and his camp, Rich in particular, have been positive and supportive. So very professional, and Rich has been great. The dialogue with him has been open and constant. So that to answer that question. And then in terms of LeBron's career, I think the number one thing we have to do there is respect he and his family's decision in terms of how long he's going to play. I think that's first and foremost, and we want to respect his ability to come up with his timetable on that. I think that's really important. But if he had a chance to retire a Laker, that would be great.
All right, let's bring in the man who asked that question. David Meneman here with us covering the Lakers. And Dave, everyone took a notice that LeBron was not at that Luka presser. What message is being sent there?
Well, I mean, I can report, according to several sources, that LeBron on Saturday morning, after Luka Doncic inked his contract extension officially, and before he went and greeted us reporters and actually took a photo with a bunch of his teammates, LeBron James FaceTimed Luka to congratulate him on the deal. And certainly, as Ramona alluded to, LeBron has done so much to support Luka in welcoming him to LA since the trade in early February. He spoke about his willingness to play off ball. Obviously, that first game that Luka played at Crypto.com Arena, LeBron James was not the last Laker introduced in the starting lineup. That honor went to Luka as a show of a come on in. This is your team too. And the relationship between Luka Doncic and LeBron, I'm told, involves a lot of respect and reverence. The greater question is, where does LeBron stand with the Lakers? And I'm told that the statement that Rich Paul gave to Shams Charania back in June when LeBron opted in still stands, that LeBron and his representatives will be monitoring the Lakers' moves that they make, because they recognize that there's only a very limited amount of time left in his career, and he wants to be competing for championships whatever time that is.
Yeah, so there's a bigger issue happening there between LeBron and the Lakers. And beyond who was and wasn't there, what stood out to you most about seeing Luka Doncic now versus the tail end of last season?
Well, certainly it wasn't smoke and mirrors, and it wasn't Photoshop in that Men's Health article and spread of photos. Luka Doncic looks fantastic. I didn't just see him in a suit on Saturday. Last night on Sunday, I saw him in a tracksuit downtown Los Angeles at a Jordan Brand event, a tracksuit and a T-shirt, and the guy looks confident. He's carrying himself, a little bit taller, making eye contact, more smiles. As Ramona mentioned, there was a degree of shell-shocked nature that he brought with him day in, day out that second half of the season after that trade from Dallas. He's a comfortable person right now. He looks great, and certainly I reported that with the work that he's doing to bring to this year's situation, he wants the Lakers to do that work as well. In a meeting with Rob Pelinka and JJ Redick back in May at a dinner, Luka Doncic told those decision makers for the Lakers, listen, I want to get back and win now. I've been to the finals before. I got a taste of it. I'm going to get back no matter what, but I want to be on board with you guys to let's be urgent about our opportunity right in front of us to get back as soon as possible.
No Photoshop in 2025, an anomaly. So we know that Luka Doncic, he's putting in the work for real. Dave McMenamin with the latest. All right, Luka wants to get back to the finals, and the Lakers, they're looking to snap their own drought too. The odds makers over at ESPN Bet give the Lakers 10-1 odds to win the West, which are tied for third best in the Eastern Conference heading into the season. Back here with Ramona and Mark, and you know that Luka wants to take this Lakers team to the NBA Finals. So, Ramona, what should be their first priority?
You know, they had one of the best defenses in the league right after that trade for Luka Doncic, which doesn't exactly go together, right? He's not known as a defensive stopper. But they also had added Dorian Finney-Smith, and they started playing a brand of defense that was pretty unique in the NBA. And it was centered around LeBron James as the middle linebacker, quarterback, whatever you want to call him, with that defense. There was a 15-game stretch there. They went 13-2, had the best defense in the league. I want to see if they can recapture that because they've lost Dorian Finney-Smith, and now they have DeAndre Ayton on that back line. So how do you reconstitute that defense to play at that level again?
You know, there's 30 teams in the NBA. You can make an argument that 2 of the top 10 players in the league are on the Lakers.
Yeah, they are.
When you have 2 of the top 10 players in the league, you should be a championship contender. What is going to take them there? They need DeAndre Ayton to be that third guy, that third star. We've seen the potential with him, a guy that could average a 60 field goal percentage, a guy that could always is at over 10 rebounds a game, but he needs to be healthy. He needs to be on the court. He needs to play with a vengeance. He needs to be a shot blocker. He needs to be the guy that everybody expected him to be with the #1 pick in the 2018 draft, and I think he could be that player. I feel like LeBron James and Luka are going to push his games to the next level. And, you know, Reeves is obviously there. So to me, DeAndre Ayton is the X factor on whether or not this Lakers team can compete for a championship.
Yeah, really curious to see how it all shakes out, especially with DeAndre Ayton bringing that defense to this. The longest win streak in the last 10 seasons. Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston have dominated, averaging 19 and 15 points per game, respectively. And the Fever have kicked it up a level as of late with their longest active win streak in the W right there. Indiana has also moved up, and the standings are now just a game and a half back of second place in the league. And how lucky are we? We've got head coach Stephanie White live in studio here with us. Thank you so much for taking the time. And just as I mentioned, you guys won 5 straight games. How are you guys finding ways to win games, especially without Caitlin Clark on the floor?
Yeah, we're really just finding a way. I think chemistry, continuity, you know, this is a team that really pulls for each other. It's a really deep team, so you can't really key on 1 or 2 players without Caitlin on the floor, especially. And they've got connectivity on both ends. I think our defense has improved. Offensively, we're moving the ball, getting a lot of players touches. The ball's finding the right shot, and it's just been a really fun group to coach. They've been incredibly resilient.
Yeah, and speaking of Caitlin Clark, she's only played 13 of 29 games. She's been in and out of the lineup, obviously, with the injuries. You know, when you take a look at Caitlin Clark, one, what's her status, and also what's the plan to get her back out there on the court?
Yeah, I mean, it's day-to-day right now.
Yeah.
We're really just putting no timetable on it, going through the rehab process, and then we want to reintegrate her from a strength and conditioning standpoint, and then get her back to basketball activities. So we're taking it one day at a time, really slow rolling it, slow playing it this time. She tried to come back a couple of times and just had setbacks along the way. So the most important thing for us is Caitlin's long-term health, getting her back to 100% before we put her back on the floor.
All that said, it is not easy to go from having a ball-dominant player like Caitlin Clark on your team one day and then not on your team for long stretches, and then back, and then back, and then not out How are you guys shifting gears each time?
Yeah, that's been the toughest part, and I think you saw it early when she was in and out of the lineup, just adjusting because she has so much gravity on the offensive end. We run things differently on the floor when she's on the floor offensively. Now we go smaller. We have a little bit more versatility, I would say, on the defensive end of the floor. But again, I think this group is just, we have some plug-and-play players that they don't care what their role is. They just want to get out there. They just want to compete, and we've found a little bit of a rhythm right now. And so when we re-implement and get Caitlin back in the floor, reintegrate her, I think we're going to be that much more dangerous.
Coach, I got to ask you about the turn-up. I've been in a bunch of NBA championship locker rooms, and the Thunders was a dud. Like, tell me about y'all turn-up. Yeah, we won the Commissioner's Cup, and man, y'all had the best time.
The turn-up was real, right? I mean, we got players who really enjoy one another, and I think that's the most important thing. Connectivity in the locker room. You saw it, and celebrating the victories along the way. So important for us, continuing to take steps forward and stack days, and we've been able to do that. This is a really selfless group. We talk about playing for the we over the me all the time, and they choose that every single day. I was really proud of them in this moment to be able to come in and to win that championship on Minnesota's home floor. And then, we might.
Well, who was the best and worst dancer?
Who was the best dancer?
And the worst.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I feel like you got to check social.
I saw you dance a little bit.
You got to check social for that. Just a little bit.
Okay, they didn't show any of that video.
Very little bit.
This is somebody like Kelsey Mitchell has been on the team forever, right? And she goes back to when you couldn't even play at the Game Bridge. They were doing refurbishing that place. And how important was a game like that or a win like that for her?
It was huge. I feel like Kelsey Mitchell has experienced every bit of the highs and lows of the Indiana Fever franchise and really deserves to be where she is and where we are right now. I mean, she has really lifted us in the absence of Caitlin. She's been playing incredible basketball, but to have her and this group be able to celebrate a win like that was important. Like that was one of our goals. It's not the ultimate goal, but to be able to get that midway through the season to really catapult us, I think has been huge.
A lot of people I don't think know about you. You're a former Miss Indiana basketball. You won a national championship at Purdue. You were actually on the Fever's first team.
Yes.
And now you're coaching there. What does Indiana basketball mean to you, and what does the Fever personally mean to you in being back there your first season?
This franchise is just a part of my DNA. Growing up in Indiana, playing most of my career in the state of Indiana, being a part of the first Indiana Fever team, being a part of the first championship Fever team, and then being able to coach in this organization, it's been huge for me. I take a lot of pride in basketball in the state of Indiana. I take a lot of pride in this franchise and being a part of this franchise. And Kelly Krauskopf is back with our organization, who really was the architect of our first championship and has been the backbone of this franchise. And to work with her and Amber Cox and to be able to coach generational talent like Caitlin Clark. And, we really do just have a great group of human beings and a strong group of women that are leading our organization.
And when Caitlin Clark does return to the floor, how is she going to help elevate this team even more down the stretch of the season?
Well, she demands so much gravity on the defensive end of the floor. She's constantly seeing multiple players, and she makes the right reads and makes the right plays for our group. So she's going to continue to allow us to stretch the floor. We're going to be able to, I think everybody else will be able to get more higher percentage looks because of what she demands on the defensive end of the floor. And she brings our own defensive versatility because of her length, because of her size. So we'll certainly look different. I think we'll be that much more dangerous on offense in particular.
And you've made some pretty strong statements about the officiating in the WNBA this season. Everybody has. Everybody's been talking about the physicality and everything like that. What's been the difference since you made that statement to what you're seeing right now?
I don't know if there's been a lot of difference. I think the biggest thing is that we just want accountability, right? We want everybody to continue to grow. This league and players are as good as it's ever been, and they are as good and as versatile as they've ever been, and we want that trend to continue to grow in all facets of our league. And no one has been shy about speaking up about it. The players deserve it. Our game deserves it.
And why has it been so physical? Like, I've noticed that just watching the games, and I get it. You want to go out there and be physical. You want to go out there and be tough, but it does feel a little bit different this season.
I think as players, you will always be as physical as they will allow. I mean, these are the ultimate competitors, right? The best in the world at what they do. Any edge that you can get to win a ball game, you're going to take advantage of it. And I think the physicality is, because it's being allowed to be that way, everybody's stepping up to it, and everybody's embracing it in their own way.
Coach, Caitlin gets such a big spotlight. Who needs to be talked about more?
Aaliyah Boston, for sure. I mean, she is our backbone. She really is the rock of our team. We utilize her in a different way than she's been utilized throughout the course of her career as a hub. And, she's been a player that we can play through. She's been reliable. She's been consistent. She's high IQ. We've asked her to do more on the defensive end, and she stepped up to every single challenge. And AB's a player who came into this league a low block dominant player. Now we're putting the ball in her hands. We're utilizing her in the offseason. I said, I want you to watch Jokic. We want to play through you in the same way that Denver can play through Jokic. And she has, and she's continued to elevate her game.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And now she's talking about it all day with Candace Parker on a podcast.
Yes, love that.
You okay with all these, everyone with the podcast?
I am.
Think it's headlines?
No, I think it's going to be great. I mean, I got to see them at the All-Star, and I think they're going to be great. I mean, two strong women leading the way. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, well, Stephanie, thank you so much for taking the time out and hanging out with us here on NBA Today. And also, good luck through the rest of the season. All right, coming up on NBA Today.